Okay, I think we can all agree. Streaming, it's like, it's totally changed how we watch movies and TV.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. I mean, it's so easy to just have everything, like right there at your fingertips.
It really is.
Huh?
But I kind of wonder sometimes, you know, like, is this good for film? Like, as art?
Hmm. Yeah. That's a big question, isn't it?
Or is it all about, like, instant gratification now? Not so much about the art anymore.
There's definitely a lot to think about there. I mean, on the one hand, streaming has opened up a ton of opportunities for different stories, different voices. Like independent films, they're so much more accessible now, right? And we get to see films from all over the world.
Yeah, you're right. That's amazing.
But, there's that other side. The worry that all this quantity maybe is hurting quality. Maybe everything's becoming like the same.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like we're losing sight of, like, what makes something truly artistic.
Exactly.
Because everything's just content now.
Right.
Like, it's all lumped together. You know, a masterpiece, a silly reality show. It's all just content.
That's a really interesting point. And, a lot of filmmakers, especially those who like really came up with cinema, they're struggling with this.
Yeah, I can see that.
Think about like going to a Fellini film.
Oh, yeah.
It was an event,
Mm-hmm.
you know? You immersed yourself. It was a whole world this artist created.
Yeah, it was. It was an experience.
And people would leave the theater and they'd debate it, the meaning, the symbolism, everything. They were really engaging with it, with art.
It feels different now. Like, now it's more, I don't know, passive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just have it on while you're doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
Dinner, scrolling, just background noise.
It is. It's almost become, there's a term for it, ambient TV.
Ambient TV.
Yeah. Stuff that's visually nice, easy to like take in, but it doesn't really like challenge you, stick with you.
Oh, okay. I can.
Like those food shows, right? Or those travel documentaries. Beautiful to watch, but you forget them right away.
So we've got tons of choices now, but we're not really thinking about them as much.
Yeah, it's part of it. And it's kind of tied to how these services, like, how they work.
Hmm.
They're designed to keep you watching, keep you consuming.
Right, right.
Like they drop whole seasons at once, and then there's the algorithms.
Yeah. What's up with those?
Always suggesting stuff based on what you've seen before.
So it's all personalized.
Oh, yeah. They're watching you, tracking everything, trying to guess what you'll like.
Huh. Wow. I never really thought about it like that.
And it can be convenient, for sure,
Yeah.
but it also creates this, like, bubble, a filter bubble.
A filter bubble.
You only see things that fit your taste. You don't see other stuff, new ideas, different perspectives.
Oh, wow. I see.
And that can be, well, limiting,
Yeah, definitely.
especially for artists, people trying to do something new, something different. Because if the algorithm thinks, nah, this won't fit.
It doesn't get seen.
Exactly.
No, it's like the art's becoming more about pleasing the algorithm than the people.
There's definitely a fear of that.
Yeah.
That art is becoming, I don't know, about attention, likes, views, all that.
And less about the art itself.
Yeah. And meaning, depth.
So is this happening, like, everywhere? Not just movies. Like, music, too. Painting.
It's kind of a trend across the board, honestly. Like in painting, you've got zombie formalism.
Zombie formalism. What's that?
Technically, it's all good. The art's good. But there's no, like, emotion.
Oh, okay.
People say it's all about being Instagrammable. Looking nice, but on the surface. Not about making you feel something real.
It's so interesting you say zombie. It's like, it's alive, but there's no soul.
That's a great way to put it.
It's like, are we losing something? Something important. Because we want everything so fast.
It's a big question. It brings us back to, binge watching.
Yeah.
Can you really enjoy a show if you're just rushing through it?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I know I've done it. Just click next episode, without even thinking about what I just watched.
And that's exactly how it's designed, right?
Yeah.
Streaming services, they're built for that. Binge watching,
Right.
autoplay, everything at once. So you watch for hours and hours.
It's like they want us to be addicted.
Maybe that's a strong word, but there's definitely something there. And it's funny because even Netflix, right? The kings of binge watching, they seem to realize it too, a little.
Oh, really?
You know that message? Are you still watching?
Oh, yeah, the one that pops up after, like, a million episodes.
Exactly. Like, on the surface, it's just a safety thing, but it's kind of like they know. Like, hey, maybe this isn't healthy.
It's pretty ironic, isn't it? Like, they make money off us watching so much.
Yeah.
But then they're like, maybe you should stop.
Yeah, it's weird. It shows just how complicated it all is, our relationship with these surfaces. They give us entertainment, but they also, shape how we watch things in ways we might not even realize.
So what do? Streaming's not going anywhere, right?
Uh-huh.
But can we still have film as art?
That's the big question. I don't know if anyone has the answer yet, but we're all figuring it out together. I think it's tricky, because streaming services with all the algorithms and data, they're drawn to what's popular, what everyone's watching.
Makes sense.
And that makes it harder for art that's, maybe a little different, more challenging, not so instantly exciting.
Right. It's harder for that to find an audience.
Exactly. Like if a film doesn't fit perfectly into a genre or it doesn't have that, I don't know, that thing the algorithm wants, it might get lost.
Yeah, totally. And the algorithm only knows what's popular already.
Exactly. So it's like it pushes that kind of stuff. And then that's all that gets made. It's hard to break out of that.
It's like a loop.
It is. And this pressure to fit in with what the algorithm wants, it's everywhere. All kinds of art. Think about books.
Okay. Yeah.
With things like Kindle Direct Publishing and all that, there's this huge focus on churning out content fast.
And following all those genre rules, right?
Exactly. Hitting those keywords so people see your book.
It's like those giant fantasy books, right? Dragons and magic.
Exactly. They're meant to hook you, keep you reading forever. And, there's nothing wrong with escaping for a bit,
Right, of course.
But it does make you wonder, what does it mean for, literature? For real art?
It feels like it's less about writing something beautiful, something that makes you think. It's more about just more.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because it ties back into that ambient TV idea. These books, they're like comfort food, but for your brain. Easy to take in, you escape for a bit, but then... Gone. No lasting impact.
It's funny you said that because I was just thinking about those, what are they called? Those autofiction novels.
Oh, yeah. The ones that can blur in the lines. Fiction, but also real life.
Yeah. It's like the writer's making this whole persona in the book.
Carefully crafted, yeah.
It makes you think, are they writing for, readers? Or for followers?
It's hard to tell sometimes. It's part of this bigger thing, art and online life. They're all mixed up now.
But is that bad? It's cool that artists can connect with people directly now, right? Build a whole fan base online.
It has good sides, for sure. But it also makes you question things, Authenticity. What's real? Is the art for art's sake? Or is it about the brand?
It's a tough one. Where does the art stop and the selling begin?
Yeah, exactly. And for artists, this pressure to always be on, creating, engaging, it can be a lot.
Exhausting, probably.
Yeah, and it takes away from the art sometimes.
It's almost like we're saying to artists, give us your soul, entertain us.
Oh, that's a heavy thought. It makes you wonder if there's a better way. So they can be creative, but also, live a good life.
But back to that Netflix thing, are you still watching? That's them admitting there's a problem.
It's interesting, isn't it? They put that there. Maybe they really care. Or maybe it's just them being like, hey, we know this is addictive, but whatever.
Could be both, I guess.
Could be. But it shows that we have to think about it too. We're the ones watching, right? We have to make choices about what we watch, how much.
So it's not just on the companies, it's on us too. How we use all this stuff.
Yeah.
Technology, entertainment.
Exactly. We have to remember we have a choice. We can choose to watch things that make us think, that push us.
Or we can just zone out, let the algorithm take over.
Yeah. And what we choose, it matters. For us, for art, for everything.
So how do we break out of this? How do we find that balance? Like, easy to watch, but still engaging,
That's the question, isn't it? It's tough. But I think it starts with being more aware, more mindful of what we're choosing.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, we can be more deliberate, right? Instead of just scrolling forever, we can look for things we know will be good, things that will make us think.
So we have to make an effort, not just let the algorithm choose.
Exactly, and we can support, those smaller filmmakers, the artists who are doing something different.
Going to festivals, finding those indie theaters.
Exactly. And when we do watch something, we can really watch it. Not just binge it all in one go, but take time to think about it, talk about it.
Savor it, not just rush through it.
Exactly. And remember, there are so many ways to experience art.
Like seeing a movie in a theater, it hits different, right? Than watching it at home.
Totally. There's something about being in a theater with other people. It's powerful.
And there's something about, like, putting on a record.
Yeah.
Listening to the whole thing. Or spending time in a museum. Really looking.
Absolutely. It's about being present.
Yeah.
Really being there with the art. Not just letting it wash over you.
So it's about taking back control. Not just letting the algorithms and the companies decide for us.
Exactly. And remembering why we love art in the first place. It moves us, it makes us think, it changes us.
And that's worth something.
It really is.
Like we've lost something, haven't we, in all this rush to watch everything.
What do you mean?
Like the ability to just, sit with something. Really let it take in.
You're right. We're so used to instant gratification now, everything right now. We've forgotten how to appreciate things that take time.
Yeah, the slow burn, the things that unfold slowly, and you're like, wow, later on.
Exactly. And that's a shame because some of the best art, it's like that. It takes time.
Totally. Like, think about 2001, A Space Odyssey. You can't just have that on in the background. You got to give it your attention. Think about it.
It makes you work for it, and it's worth it.
It is. And it makes me think about how binge watching, it's like we're messing with time.
How so?
We cram a whole season into a weekend. Like, it's not supposed to be like that. It's like we're squishing time down.
That's an interesting way to put it, and I wonder if that affects how we see art. Like, all the little details, the nuances, we miss them if we're just rushing.
It's all about speed now, not depth.
And that affects the artist too. If people are used to fast, flashy stuff, then that's what gets made.
It's that loop again.
It is. And we gotta figure out how to break it if we want art to survive,
But streaming's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
We adapt. We make choices.
Like what? What can we do?
Well, we can be smarter about what we watch, choose things we know will be good, thought-provoking, support those smaller filmmakers, the ones taking risks.
Be more picky, not just watch whatever's trending.
Exactly. And when we do watch, we can, really watch. Put the phone away, no distractions, let ourselves get lost in it.
Slow down. Be present.
Exactly. And remember, art isn't just on screens, it's everywhere.
Like going to museums and stuff.
Sure, but also just looking around, noticing the light, the shapes, the colors, finding the beauty in normal things.
Like being more aware.
Yeah.
More open to it.
Exactly. That's what makes life interesting, And it can make you a better appreciator of art, too.
I like that. It's like art is a way of seeing things, not just a thing you look at.
I love that. And that's what we got to hold on to, that ability to see things in new ways, to find meaning, beauty, connection through art.
And maybe if we do that, we can help art change too, in a good way. So it's not just like product.
I hope so. Because art deserves better than that, than just being another thing we consume.
It really does.
Ew.
And speaking of art that makes you think, for our listeners, if you want music that's really different, check out Skinny Puppy. Their song Film, it's an experience. Really makes you question things.
That's a great suggestion.
It's been awesome talking about all this with you.
Same here.
And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep being curious, and find those things, those experiences that really speak to you.